Welcome back everybody to Extreme Off-Road Silly Bills, and today we're dealing with the 2022 Hennessey Mammoth 1000 6x6 TRX. So this now has 1750 horsepower, 1475 pounds-feet of torque from a 7.4 litre twin turbocharged V8 engine, all of which it really needs as it still weighs 6142 pounds. Still has all-wheel drive and it's off-road suspension, but it now has wider off-road tyres to go alongside all of that. And it can do 0 to 60 in 3.068 seconds, 0 to 106.432 seconds, and go to a top speed of 196 miles an hour, which it certainly won't be getting up to on this course. So yeah, in terms of stats, obviously the off-road capability and acceleration are going to be really rather good. The former because obviously it's got 6 wheels, it's got high ground clearance, off-road tyres, and the latter because it has 1750 horsepower. Braking is fairly decent, although given how much it weighs and the amount of momentum we might be carrying, those brakes really need to be as good as possible. But the launching isn't all that great, the handling is even worse, and even though the speed is decent, it's not some kind of speed we're going to be getting up to, quite frankly. So yeah, we have had 2 other Hennesseys on this series so far, the Venom F5, which is obviously a hypercar, nowhere near similar to this, but we've also had the Velociraptor 6x6 as well, which put in a time of 3 minutes 26.949. So yeah, obviously that also had 6 wheels, but that car was significantly lighter than this, I believe, and not quite as long either. So yeah, not expecting this to be an easy vehicle to drive. I'm expecting a lot of understeer, and B, a lot of close calls with the corners just because of how much it weighs and how much momentum we're going to be carrying. So yeah, I'm hoping the brakes will be as good as they look, because quite frankly they're going to need to be. So yeah, certainly not expecting this to be as quick as the Lamborghini in the previous episode, just because that wasn't, you know, lighter and more nimble, and yeah, definitely wasn't dealing with a very long body. But it will eat up the rough stuff. None of the bumps and jumps and stuff are going to really trouble this at all. But as we can see, yeah, a little bit cumbersome through the corner there. Now yes, the spare tyre and the roll bar and whatnot have added weight, but they've also, weirdly enough, increased the handling. So, you know, I felt like as much handling as possible is really more important with this vehicle than necessarily getting it as light as possible. At the end of the day, it still probably would weigh more than 6,000 pounds, but now it just has that bit more extra control. Especially in terms of keeping the rear planted, because that's where there isn't all that much weight even with that additional axle, as you can see there by the fact it bounced up. Because yeah, the tyres and the axles are really the only weight at the back at all. It's far more front heavy with the large V8 and the axle up front, which is obviously powered as well. And such. So yeah, massive loads of understeer. Really is not helping. Very gentle into the corners and then power out. Which is fine on a slower corner, but when you've got quick corners that come up one after the other, it's really rather not all that confidence inducing, unfortunately. Bit of the handbrake there just to get the car around. Tell how much we're not really able to use the power in the fact that we've only got to 132 down that bit, and most cars do get up to above 140, so yeah, and those are the kind of cars that will typically have a lot less power than this, but because they're also lighter and we're carrying more speed into that area, it's yeah, just not really all that able to get around corners. We've taken great liberties with the track limits, well, more course limits, but we just don't have the handling really just to be as accurate and able to stay on the course as much as possible really. Really able to use the handbrake there to get it around the corner. This is a pretty slow one, way slower than the Velociraptor 6x6, 3 minutes 32.662 seconds, so nearly 6 seconds slower than that Velociraptor, and that's just because really could not turn it in at all into the corners. It was just so, yeah, unwieldy, and the handling was just not there. It had loads of understeer, and yeah, it just wasn't responsive at the front whatsoever. And even with all of that power, I don't think it's quite enough to make up for the huge amount of weight and the, you know, the gargantuan body and everything like that. So yeah, it's no real surprise that it is as slow as it is, quite frankly. And yeah, it is right down the bottom, to be honest. It's only marginally ahead of the Ford Super Duty for F450 DRW Platinum, which was also quite a unwieldy pickup truck. But that was even worse because the front tyres on that are woeful, quite frankly. Yeah, that's the only reason it's any quicker than that one. But it is also slower than a 1965 Morris Mini Traveller, as well as a Nissan Pickup Rally Raid, a Volkswagen Thing, a Deberti F150 Pre-Runner, Porsche Macan LPR Rally Raid, and a Wuling Sunshine S. But it is also quicker than a Porsche Taycan Turbo S, a Neo EP9, a Subaru STI S209, Morris Minor Series 2 Traveller, and a Renault 8 Gordini. So yeah, but it's not all that quick at all. It's at number 203rd place. No, 204th place out of 215. So yeah, not particularly quick, but you know, at least it was good in terms of the off-road capability. But that's no surprise given the size of it and the wheels and suspension and all sorts of other elements to it as well. So yeah, no real surprise it was capable off-road, but not particularly fast off-road though either. Nonetheless, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.